Okay, good afternoon. Today I've got three areas to avoid investing during inflationary times. And these areas are banking and finance, consumer discretionary, and highly speculative technology. Now, why do I make these recommendations? So, in recent weeks, we've heard a lot more news about inflation, how inflation probably is impending in the near future, maybe the next several months or even years. And what are the areas that you want to invest in and what are the areas you want to avoid? In this video, we're focusing on what you want to avoid. Now, banking and finance. Why are banking and finance not good areas to be invested during inflation? Banks extend loans to businesses, to mortgage holders. It extends loans which are fixed debts, right? They're fixed amounts of money and they're paid interest. When inflation rises, that causes the purchasing power of those loans to drop. So the value of those assets that these banks hold declines. And as a result, the value of the banks declines. So during inflationary times, banking and finance aren't really the best place to be invested. You could actually lose money being in them. The second is consumer discretionary. These are areas of travel and leisure. These are areas that during inflationary times, right, wages are usually the last thing to catch up with everything else during inflationary times. So people are paying more out of pocket for the costs of living. As a result, they're going to cut back on the stuff that they don't necessarily need, like vacationing. So stocks and companies like Carnival Cruise Lines probably aren't going to do very well. They may even decline quite a bit in value. Now, they may not necessarily decline in nominal terms, but they're going to fall in real terms, right? If I buy a stock and it's worth $10 today, and it's still worth $10 or even $11 a year from now, but the purchasing power of my cash has fallen a lot, right? So it takes a lot more to buy, groceries or energy with $10 than it is, today. That's going to affect the value, right? The real value of my investment has declined, even though the nominal value is the same. Finally, it's speculative technology. Now, there's a lot of technology that does well during inflation if it's able to harness what's needed from people in order to save money. However, the highly speculative stuff, the stuff that's going to maybe produce a profit at some point in the distant future, that a lot of people will pile their money into, a lot of investors or speculators, because they're looking to make what's that next great technology? Those aren't going to do so well because they're not showing a return immediately. It's too far in the future. And inflation generally pushes up interest rates, which causes an increase in demand for things now. We need stuff now. That's what an interest rate reflects: interest in time. And so there's highly speculative stuff like the NFTs, even digital currency. Everyone talks about it like it's this hedge against inflation. But when inflation really rears its ugly head, you're going to see something very different. Please post a question or a comment. Send me a private message if you want to talk about it privately. I always enjoy reading your comments. And until next time, I wish you unlimited success.